Even
I want to pose a question, Miss Security Boss, because this thing came up. This question came up last night about we talk about damage between men and women, and especially from father to mother. There's just so there's just kind of distinction to us that, well, at least with our women, it's black women, that their child is it's like they feel like it's their child, not our child, right? Especially when they keep referring to in situations like, you're not gonna talk about my child, and I'm like, why you think that probably is that we having that distinction where we're separating the man automatically, and also because of this 9-month process that no man is panel belittling you for, but because of that, therefore that negates any type of some form of authority we have over that child, how he goes about in that child's life. So my question to you is like, why is that mentality affecting our community?
I think that that's just an excuse, something, a comeback, that 9-month thing. I think that's just a comeback for, not saying the wrong thing or not including that male is what I think. But let me tell you where this is all coming from. There was a time where men didn't want to be involved or didn't care a lot. Right. So you're getting a pushback from that. This is like I told Stu earlier before you all came in. These men now, or you men now, are a different generation of men. You all care. You're voicing your wants and the things you want to be a part of your kid's life. It hasn't always been this way. And you got to understand that these women are being taught by their mothers. And it's some real things. It's really real that some of the dads, they may have wanted to be there, but they may not want to be there permanently. They may want to be there this week, but may not want to be there for the next quarter. That's a real thing. And right. I don't think child support helps that, because seeing a child as an invoice, a bill you got to pay, like a car payment every month, it don't feel good. I get it. I don't see that being, a good way to handle it. But we left the system no choice. Either they took care of the kid or they made you take care of the kid. So to answer your question, Jedi, I think that thing about that 9-month thing, I'm carrying a child, just something to say, just to push back. But the part about my kid and not yours, we are used to, or there's a history of men not being there, not showing up, or lots of times they can't show up because maybe they're having 2 babies, one hospital on the left, one on the right. You can't be in 2 places at one time. Things of that nature have been going on in our community, and it's still pretty much happening because you already say what? I don't know the number. I forgot the number, but how many men are actually fathering the kids? It's, it's the same men that are fathering the kids. So how can you be so many places and be daddy? You can't. So it's just a jacked up system. We just jacking it up worse. So it's just, we got to get back to, we just need the women. We need to find out who these real men are, have babies by them. No, get married to them.
Come on.
I
was about to say it. Hold on a second now.
I missed that part.
Come on. So they're taking it wrong with it.
For me, that's a given. I've been married so long, y'all. It's a given. So anyway, get married, then have babies by them, so you can at least know that man is invested in you and will take care of his kid, and it won't be anymore my kid and that, So I just think that comes from some trauma. I think Stu and I talked about healing earlier. That's one of those things that have to be healed. Y'all are all men around me. Y'all got to understand this. There was a time when black men did not stand up. Okay? They did not.
Right.
I'm going to tell y'all something. I haven't said this to anybody, and it tripped me out. My dad, oh Lord, I'm going to say this. My dad just told me, my mother just passed away on Halloween. My dad and mother, they were married like.
Sorry to hear about that.
Yeah.
Listen, she lived an outstanding life. She was not sick, not one day. She went to the emergency room and she passed away the next morning. Never sick.
Wow.
Good life.
Wow.
So I think she was like, I did this right. I just think it was excellent the way. Not excellent. Y'all don't take that wrong.
I know what you mean.
A very good life. Never sick.
A life well lived. Yeah.
Right. Life well lived. Thank you. So what I'm trying to say though is I'm the baby, 51 years old. And I heard my dad say for the first time about 2 weeks ago that he had 7 kids by another woman, 6 by one woman and 1 by another that are not my children.
Wow.
He finally told me this, and at 51, she's gone. He finally told me 6 by one woman 1 by another, 3 by his wife. Now, I'm like, why are you telling me this? What am I supposed to do? He was like, I'm like, what? You did what? And 4 were before they were married. 3 were after they were married. Now, what he don't know is I already peeped his history. I know there's more out there to be said, but now he's coming to the point where he's letting all these things out. So, I'm in these YouTube streets. So I'm thinking, so you made a woman for the streets. Did you not realize that? Is she making me accountable? I went straight to the Bible on him, y'all. I said, what is God saying about this? Are you good? He told me he was good. God said he's okay. I said, okay. But I'm a grown woman, and I'm telling you, there's 7 kids out there that did not have a daddy for a large portion of their life. No, all their life.
A lot of kids are like that too.
Now he said to me, my mom knew about it. Now, I don't know that to be true, but I can only just imagine the trauma that might have caused her to have to live with that, knowing that was going on. But he was still in my house now. I'm telling you, he was a provider. And I say this often, he was the checked-in dad with me till I was about 13 years old. And then it was time to turn over to my mom, of course. But I'm just telling you, this is a real thing. He worked every day of his life, never missed a Sunday out of church. He did everything on paper, I can say, or on the exterior that he was supposed to do. But he just confessed to this, seven of them. So I don't know if he's going to give me a little bit at a time, but I already know that there's others. But I'm saying it came out of his mouth. He never in 51 years even decided to talk to me about something like this until she passed away.
And I guess because he felt like he didn't want to bring up something that was so painful to her.
Well, he said he knew.
Well,
he said he knew.
Yeah.
I'm gonna say this. Like the reason you didn't see my face kind of shiver. Now, my dad didn't do this, but do I know it in the history of my own family? I do.
Yeah.
Okay, so this is what we're talking about. This is the trauma.
Right.
Exactly.
And I also say this. That happened to my mother. And I often say that I never said to you, I've always seen my mother was nothing but a wife. I mean, she worked, but she was a wife. No matter what he did, she was going to fix his plate. She was going to take care of the house. She was going to do whatever he asked her to do. So I saw her doing that despite. Okay. But one thing I do remember is when I got married, she didn't want me to be married. She didn't want me to get married. She talked crazy about my husband. Crazy for no reason. I mean, just stuff out of the clouds, y'all. Just whatever to make me hate a man. This is real. And I refused to do it. I refused to do it to the point that my husband and I basically had to leave them, had to go away. We couldn't let anybody into our relationship until after about the first 5 years. Because the things that they were spewing, the things that she would spew, I could have never been married to my husband.
Wow.
Never. I could have never discussed anything with her, about anything that this man did. You know how you go to your elders and you say, I tried to say this, and I would have never gotten any information that would have brought me closer to my husband. It would have always been, get your stuff, let's go. So I knew that. So I stopped.
That's a conversation. Because I told you I want you to come back in February. And I tell the whole chat I'm doing a big. First of all, it's going to be the first time I'm not going to produce this particular show, but I am the moderator. I'll be the face of it. But no, February is devoted to married couples, and it's devoted not to show off the, hey, look at me and my wife, and look at me and my. It's devoted to having the tough conversations about marriage, about history, about the things that you just espoused.
Because you all don't have the woman side, because you're looking at it in the current day and you're not maybe seeing the trauma or whatever it is. I can imagine that that's some real stuff. I mean, I saw some of the hate for men. I saw and heard what she would say, but she never reacted that way. If that makes sense. She would say one and do another.
But what you're saying is something different. I'm using this word different in a light way. Believe it or not, we've heard it. And I think what men is saying is, I'm not my grandfather.
That's
I'm not
exactly what they're saying.
I'm not
Exactly.
my father. Judge me on now. You're trying to understand a traumatic situation that happened in childhood. And see, this is where I'm not saying it's right or wrong, but if I use my grandfather who was in that position, now he didn't have 7, he only had 1, but either way it go, he had him. But one thing that I'm going to say that my uncle and my aunt both said, men back then still took care of their children, even if it was outside. At least my grandfather did. But
it gets to a point. How can you?
Yeah, but my argument is this: how do I teach women we ain't them? Judge me on my now.
Can I say something, Uncle Stu?
Yeah.
Like, first, unsolicited security boss is the gold standard.
Yes.
Let me just put that out there, like straight up. Like straight.
Right,
I'm not saying this.
Hit the clap button.
Yeah. So
hit the clap button.
Yeah. So, and I'm not saying that just to say that. I mean, just first of all, I appreciate the way that you said that. We often hear a woman's side of the story from a place of vitriol, so it comes out as poisonous and acidic. And the way that you just articulated it was in a way that made me understand the trauma that occurred and where those roots come from. So first of all, thank you for that. I do think that a lot of men are saying that we are not us. But now with you saying what you said, it gives us a little bit more insight on how to approach that situation. Because some girls, they didn't go through that. But when a young girl has seen her mama talk like that for 18 years, she takes on that mindset. Yes. And she's creating a scenario that's not really real based off of what her mama has put in her, because that was mama's experience. So thank you a lot for that. That was insightful even for myself. So
yeah,
and thank you.
And you know what? I'm gonna say this before I go, because I got a show to do with this guy tonight. At 8:30, sitting up there in the top hand corner up there. But anyway, I'll say this: I went to my wife's father passed away. We knew that she was an outside kid, right? So we went to the funeral. She was very emotional. We sat there. The lady got up in front of the funeral, and this is in Louisiana, so people are gonna run their mouth. She said, "I just want y'all to know that we here worshiping and praising the Lord." She said, "But y'all know what kind of man this was." And so the daughter started getting up. She said, "Listen, if you are a child of this man, it is time out for you guys not to know each other." She said, "So I want all the kids that's in here." She said, "I know all of you, and I know the baby mamas." She said, "I need all the children that were not a part of this man's marriage to stand up and get to know your siblings." She said, "Go on, stand up. You should have saw the bodies standing up across that church."
Uh-oh.
Boom, 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 boom. I said, "Oh my God." And my wife thought she was the baby. She was wrong. There were kids everywhere. And now my wife has gone into a whole nother. We just came from New Orleans, 4 weeks ago, to meet one of her sisters she just met, right? She met her at the funeral, but they just met. Now they're starting to build a relationship. She's meeting siblings she's never ever seen before, and they're in their 30s, 40s, 50s. Come on. That man has some kids.
So black men, let me share this with you. I'm sharing this with all of you. I'm not ready for that because I'm embarrassed.
Oh.
I'm embarrassed. I was a daddy's girl.
That sounds like a mic drop.
Yep.
I'm being real with you. I was a daddy's girl. I'm embarrassed. Totally. I even asked them, "What do you want me to do with this?"
Ooh.
I'm embarrassed. See, like I began this thing by telling you all there was shame in my life, and I had to correct it, and I had to account for it, and I had to live through it and suffer the consequences. I told you this too starting out. Mm-hmm. I'm not trying to make anybody pay for anything, but I'm not. It's just not okay. I'm not. I can't do that. I'm glad your wife was able to, but I'm not ready for that. And I'm 51.